Salutations, boys and girls. It's and theys. And today I want to talk about the Fantastic Four film. I just got out the movie theater. And with my last film review, I talked about Superman. I sat on that a little bit and saw what other people say. This is me raw, right at the movie theater. So get ready to take me raw right here. But I thought it was good. There was a lot of moments in this movie that just made me feel uneasy. Let me just summarize the movie, non-spoilers, and I can talk about some spoilers. So non-spoilers, I think the Fantastic Four film was alright. It was way more of a Fantastic Four centered movie with the antagonist being really the other main focal point, which is very good in comparison to watching Superman, where one of my main complaints is that it was a lot of other things besides Superman. But we get to see how the family functions in real time, and it focuses on the birth of their son. I don't think that's a crazy spoiler of Reed Richards and Sue Storm son. So I thought it was good. I thought it was all right. It was one of the shortest Marvel's films of recent. I think it was like the second shortest film. So it definitely felt short. There were some other characters in the film that I felt like they tried to show more, but I didn't really feel anything for some of the shots. Like there's this black lady that sort of appoints Sue Storm in her high level positions. So it's kind of crazy that so in this Earth, the Fantastic Four runs everything. They run the entire world because they are them. And so they're like big political, they're Jesus. They control the entire world. They have influence over the entire world. They solve all the world's problems and things like that. It's kind of crazy how their world's set up. But the Fantastic Four are the bones of everyone. Really, Reed Richards and how all the family comes together and uses their thoughts, their brains to bounce off of everybody. And they also have one of the smartest people ever. So it's pretty good in that sense. I really like their family dynamic is pretty cool. I kind of didn't like how they went to tone down Johnny Storm a bit more. He definitely has that playful personality, but it seems way mellow. And the thing was probably one of the weakest characters in the four. They kind of try to develop a love interest with him, dealing with his image and things like that, but that was really barely any screen time. The main people are going to be Johnny Storm, Reed Richards, and Sue Storm here. And man, there's a point in this movie where I'm like, what is going on? Because Johnny's like known to be the dull one in the group, and he arguably he saves everybody. He saves the world from what he does, which was pretty funny once his plan came into motion with Silver Surfer. I saw what they did in this movie. They made Silver Surfer a woman, so Johnny and them can have that connection, because their connection is pivotal. And Johnny isn't really a women getter or women. You don't really see his attraction to women besides Silver Surfer. And at first it seems very forced. I didn't really like how they were like, oh, that's your girlfriend? Yeah, I'm going to go talk to her. Yeah, that's my girl right there. When she just told everybody they're going to die and get out there. So that was really funny. That was really goofy. AF. But the real brains are going to be Reed Richards, and I really like the Reed Richards and Sue Storm's dynamic. You know, Reed Richards I always like smart ass characters that think logically, and Sue is sort of that moral feelings character that sort of grounds Reed Richards into reality, because if not, he'll just be talking in ones and O's and stuff, which is really cool. I really like characters like that, like Dr. Manhattan, where he's just so have knowledge of so many things, people just think he's dull. I think it's very funny, but the cast, they're all right. I didn't really have any problem with the casting. I think everyone did their part. Pedro Pascal did all right with Reed Richards, I think. I really like his sort of smart aleck moments. We got to see him stretch in some very uncomfortable ways. And we got some very uncomfortable moments with Sue Storm and that dang baby. The Big Bad Galactus is the main foe in this film, and he is menacing. I think he has aura. I think Silver Surfer has a lot of aura. She was surfing on a lot of things in this movie. I really saw how they wanted her to just surf on everything. And it was kind of funny seeing her surf on Johnny's lava and space rocks, and she surfed on a black hole in this film, and it's funny. And then Ben Grimm. I don't really have much to say of Ben Grimm. He was just there supporting everything. He was the second Brainiac, but he wasn't really a crucial part in a lot of the planning. Even when things did hit the fan, it wasn't really crazy. He was more so in action scenes. You could really see his impact. But the real powerhouse is Sue Storm, and we saw that in this film. It was really cool seeing her show out in this film. So yeah, I think, what would I rate this movie? I gave Superman a 6 because I was very critical on Superman's character, because I had a preconceived image of Superman that I put it on that movie. And a lot of my complaints were kind of nerdy complaints, but which without those nerdy complaints, it would be a higher movie. It would be a higher film for sure. Probably like maybe an 8 or something. But some of the decisions they made, I just couldn't deal with it. So in this film, with me not knowing that much about the Fantastic Four or having a certain attachment to the film, I watched an animated series with the Fantastic Four. I don't remember. I don't even think I watched the original Fantastic Four. I watched the Fan Four Stick with the, we should have a name. Fantastic. Oh, we should be Fantastic Four. I like that name. That thing with Michael B. Jordan. I watched that one. That one was but this one, I think, captures the Fantastic Four and a lot more of how they should be captured. And it was good. It was a fun film. It wasn't a great film. It was a short film. I'd give it probably a 6. I don't think anything wants me to give it a 7. It was just a good movie. It wasn't average. I don't think it was average. So yeah, I mean, I guess I give that a 6 out of 10 from me. So let's get into spoilers and see if that changes my brain so far. So everyone knows the Fantastic Four. Everyone's hoping for the Fantastic Four to save them from everything, every single thing. And the Silver Surfer comes and tells them that Galactus is going to come and destroy this planet. So what does the Fantastic Four do? They're like, okay, let's go talk to this Galactus guy. But before that, they find out that where she's been, the Galactus guy actually destroys planets. So they go to Galactus's lair. They get sucked up in there. Oh man, I'm brushing past. So the beginning of the film, we learn that Sue Storm is pregnant with a baby. That's very important throughout the whole film. So she's pregnant with this baby on this ship. She's flying and she's pregnant. It's kind of crazy. It's like, why would you put her in that position? But Sue Storm is sort of a powerhouse. You kind of need her to help the gang if anything goes south. So I can kind of see that. So they're in this plane. They're going in this plane, in this spaceship. They're flying. They're going light speed to wherever Galactus is, and they somehow find Galactus with their precision, which reads precision calculations. And Galactus is in the middle of digging out a planet. So a planet gets dug out. They're like, oh gosh, this guy is digging out a planet in front of our faces. Let's try to get out of here and hide. They can't hide. The spaceship, whatever Galactus is on, sees them, sucks them in using this beam, sucks them in. And Silver Surfer comes out. She's like, hey, Galactus gonna see you guys. So they're like, all right, let's negotiate some terms. And so they go on this Galactus ship. So when the Silver Surfer came down, she told Johnny something. And Johnny has been getting these readings from space, these vinyls from space, and he listens to him. He's like, what could this language be? And she has like this language she speaks from her foreign native planet that she's from. And so he's trying to figure out. So throughout the whole movie, he's trying to figure out this language or what this woman is saying. And it's funny. It is one of the funniest moments of the movie. So let's get back to Galactus. They're on the ship, and Galactus is like, hey, yo, I want your baby because your baby is freaking powerful as freak. So they're like, you're not going to get this baby. And so Galactus is like, I'm going to take this baby. So he uses his power to speed up the progress of Sue Storm's pregnancy. This is one of the freakiest parts of the film. It's kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie. It's so freaky. He speeds up the progress of the baby, so she's now in labor. She forced labored Sue Storm so he can take the baby, so he can replace him being Galactus because he's stuck devouring planets and he wants to rest. And they're like, no, you're not gonna get that. So now they're scrapping. Silver Surfer is kind of wiping the field with everybody. Her power is unrivaled. Sue Storm is the only one to really do anything. They kind of get out and they somehow get away using light speed, and they're going away. And then they're like, oh, this surfer girl, she's not gonna let up. We need a light speed to a black hole. So they go to a black hole so they can suck her in the black hole. And they do that. So she's surfing. They suck her in this whole time. Sue Storm is in labor. And it's like a really tense scene. It feels very weird. It feels very freaky. It was the most unsettling thing in a Marvel movie I think I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna cap. Was it a bad way? I don't think it was in a bad way. It was just sort of in just a uncomfortable, like, pregnant way. It was kind of it just didn't rub me right. It was like watching a horror film. I'm not gonna lie. Which, if you like horror in your Marvel films, this is a very horrific Marvel movie in that sense. Imagine some guy just goes up to a pregnant woman and is like, I want your baby. I'm going to speed up the progress of your labor, and you're in labor right now. Your water just broke. I'm going to take your kid. So you're just in labor. You have powers, so you're like blinking in and out of existence or whatever, and you have this baby, and this baby's like some freak monster, powerful being, God. It was pretty freaky. So they get back to Earth. They're like, hey, yo, this Galactus guy is no cap. We might be hit. And they're like, what do you mean we're hit? And I was talking to him, and he said he wanted our baby. And I was like, I'm not going to give him the baby. And everyone's like, why aren't you going to give him the baby to save us? So that was a whole thing. And then they had to convince the general public that, guys, we're going to figure this out together. It's all right. I'm sorry, I didn't give up my baby. So, yeah, even if she did give him the baby, wouldn't he still destroy the thing if that's what he's meant to do? I don't even know. So Reed Richard figures out that he can just teleport the planet elsewhere. So he makes the whole world make these teleportation towers so they can teleport away from the threat. They couldn't do that. His plan came through, and he was like, you can't do this. Silver Surfer comes in and starts destroying these things right away. She's like, nah, we're not going to have any of this. And this one Johnny Storm comes in, the GOAT of the film. He's like, starts speaking in tongues in front of her, guarding one of the last teleporters in existence, because she destroyed all the other ones flying around, destroying all of them. He's like, she's like, he's like, to Silver Surfer girl, she's like, oh my gosh, you're reminding me of my past. And he's like, yeah, girl, so like, can I get your number? Can we go out to eat? We cool? So she flies away. She's like, oh my gosh, he got to me. And that saved one of the last teleporters. So they're like, okay, we just destroyed our teleporters. We can only use one. Let's freaking teleport Galactus away when he comes to destroy the planet. So Galactus comes, and they set up a thing to lure him in. They use the baby to lure him into the teleport thing. He's like, I don't know why they switched him out to the last minute. I guess they didn't know his powers to like scan everything, or they switched the baby out with a decoy out last minute, like he wasn't gonna know. And then he stopped. He was like, bro, I'm walking in a trap. Like, what the hell are you doing? He goes and try to get the baby, and then Sue pushes her across the city with her powers. It was freaking crazy, into the teleporter. But that wasn't even enough. And then Silver Surfer comes in, push her in, and that was basically the film. Sue Storm used her powers. She died, but then the baby, it's kind of crazy. Reed Richards lays the baby on her mother's corpse and lets him just run around on her dead corpse. And then the baby uses his powers to resurrect her. It was kind of silly. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of silly. And then that's the film. So definitely wasn't a bad film. I don't even know what to nitpick. That pregnant thing was kind of crazy. Johnny being the one that really saves everyone was kind of crazy. That was hilarious. That's one of the funniest moments in the film. Go watch this movie for Johnny Storm talking to Silver Surfer in tongues. It's the funniest thing. I started laughing in the theater. But yeah, that's my initial thoughts of the film. I didn't think it was bad. I don't think it was great. I don't think this is a movie that's going to grip everybody back into the Marvel franchise. Maybe Doomsday. But it was all right.